In our next chapter, we will begin to look at the broad variety of organic compounds. So this chapter actually pulls together several different chapters from the book. We will take a look at functional groups, and throughout the year, we'll see how organic molecules can be categorized into families based on their functional groups. We'll talk about physical properties of organic compounds, and then we'll start to talk about some spectroscopic properties of organic compounds as well. In this video, we're starting our look at functional groups. On this slide, we have some interesting biologically active compounds. This compound is called dinomycin A. It is an anti-cancer drug. It's not yet being used in patients. It has an interesting mode of action because part of the molecule will intercalate into DNA. This slides in between the steps of the DNA ladder, and then this part of the molecule will undergo changes that will then react with the DNA. The next compound is called Taxol, also known as paclitaxel. This is used in chemotherapy, particularly to treat ovarian and breast cancer, as well as some lung cancers and stomach cancers. This compound is called cis-retinal, and this compound is responsible for vision. It binds to a protein called opsin, forming a conjugate called rhodopsin, and then it absorbs energy so that this alkene changes and it leads to nerve signals that your brain can interpret as vision. And finally, this last compound is called penicillin G. Penicillin G is an antibiotic. This portion of the molecule undergoes a reaction with an enzyme that's responsible for building the cell wall in bacteria, and it basically deactivates that enzyme. So penicillin G is used as a treatment against pneumonia, strep throat, diphtheria, tetanus, syphilis, a variety of infections. Now, we're only beginning to consider the wide variety of organic compounds, and thinking about the complexity of these molecules can make this very overwhelming. But even organic chemists can feel overwhelmed by this variety of structures. So we try to focus on particular functional groups. So a functional group is a specific combination of atoms and bonds in a simple or a complex molecule, and that functional group has similar properties, similar physical properties, similar chemical properties, whether it is in a simple or a complex molecule. So in that way, this very complex molecule can be recognized as an aldehyde. This very complex molecule can be recognized as an amide. Now, a functional group is a specific combination of atoms and bonds that imparts particular properties to a molecule. Whether it is a very simple molecule or a very complex molecule, this OH group here and this OH group here are going to behave the same way. There will be similarities in terms of intermolecular forces, which influences physical properties. There are similarities in terms of chemical properties, which means this group and this group will be reactive under the same types of conditions, and they will be stable under the same types of conditions. So functional groups are important because whatever we learn about simple molecules, we can also apply that to more complex molecules. Another example, here we have a C double bond O connected to an O connected to another carbon, and this is called an ester group. This is a relatively simple molecule compared to this one. Here is another ester. And by understanding the reactions that this molecule undergoes and understanding reactions of how to prepare this compound, chemists can apply the same approach to be able to make this ester. So even though it's much more complex, what's learned here can be applied, with some modifications, to something much more complex. Many important biomolecules are simply organic molecules, and by learning about the functional groups, by learning about the reactions that they undergo, we can begin to understand some of the reactions that biomolecules will undergo as well. So having an understanding of functional groups is important not only for the study of organic chemistry, but it also extends into biology as well.